Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success. Welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up podcast with Adrian Starks. If you're looking for the ideas that could be your breakthrough for change in your business, career, or personal life, this podcast is just for you. Join Adrian as he speaks on topics of self-development and interviews a variety of entrepreneurs, business owners, and thought leaders to reveal their ideas and solutions to success and its challenges. Subscribe to the show and leave a review. It's time to champion up and be a courageous creator of change. Hey guys, hey my champions, my courageous creators of change across the globe. This is Adrian Starks with Champion Up. I want to talk today about letting go of fear and moving forward in our lives. Because right now, we are living in a time where there is just a lot of fear going on. And what's even more concerning, there are people who are allowing fear to mistreat people, to do things they shouldn't be doing. There are people that are allowing other people to do things because of fear. And I've been thinking about this for a while and saying, what is going on? And why is it that we have so much fear? And what can we do as a human race right now to move forward with that? Well, first I want to talk about, why do we have fear? Because here's the thing about human beings. We are biologically wired to have some fear because this protects us. Your brain is designed to do two things. One is designed to protect you, to make sure everything inside of you is functioning without you even having to think about it. This is called involuntary actions. So when you're sleeping at night, your heartbeat is going, your blood flow is going, your muscles are stabilized. Your brain is making sure you're protected. And if something were to happen, you would quickly react to it. And the brain operates the same way out in nature. If there is something that is very dangerous, for instance, and something happens that could be a detriment to your health or well-being or your existence on this planet Earth, you're going to think twice about going to that area. You're going to think twice about sending anyone you love to that area because out of protection, that's fear also. However, the brain is also designed to give us what we want in life. It will give us what we focus the most on. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this before. What we think about, we become. What we think about, we bring into our lives. It's kind of hard to realize that when things are not going your way in life, right? Because no one deserves to get bad things in their life. However, the brain is designed to protect you and serve you. Now, what happens is that two of these signals get mixed. If we don't program our brain the right way and give it something to focus on other than fear, it will wrap up anything that makes you feel uncomfortable as fear, and it will keep you from doing it. It'll keep you from going forward. It'll keep you from trying new opportunities. It'll keep you from trying new relationships. It'll keep you from trying things to change your health, your wellness, your ideas. It will keep you stuck in one position. So this thing about fear is not a bad thing. Actually, fear is designed to keep us from dying. You're thinking to yourself, well, I don't need to have any fear. That's okay. And I hear this a lot. Is there such thing as being fearless? People talk about fearless a lot. I'm going to be fearless. And here's the thing. There's no such thing as being fearless. Trust me. Any person that I run into, I guarantee you there is something that you're going to fear. You may not admit it. You may not say that you are. And even if you're a guru, if you're a proclaimed guru, you may say, well, I've got all my ducks in a row here and I've really worked on myself. And please, we all got fears. I was at a convention last year with my fiance and she held a snake. And I was like, whoa, I didn't want to have anything to do with the snake. And even when I worked and I mustered up the courage to hold that snake, there was that thing in my brain that was saying, this thing is going to choke me. It's going to bite me. And I'm going to be on When Animals Attacks Part 30. And they're going to ask, why in the hell was Adrian holding that snake in the first place? But that's how your brain works. It can scare you from taking on things that make you feel uncomfortable. But there is no such thing as being fearless. Let's just say that right now. If you're fearing income, not getting enough income, if you're fearing not having enough opportunities, if you're fearing what this COVID-19 thing is going to do overall to us, if you're fearing what it looks like for people in the States, for police brutality, racism, prejudice, mistreatment of humans, that's okay to have fears like that, because that's how we navigate through this world and we protect ourselves. But the other spectrum I'm going to talk about is when we use fear as a reason to hate, a reason to mistreat, a reason to condone violence. That's not cool. And that's not what we want to do. Let's think about the word fearless here, okay? Fearless is this. How about we separate these two words? We fear less. Space in between allows you to think about what it is exactly that you're fearing. And you can ask yourself two questions. Is this a detriment to my health? Is this thing going to take me off this planet Earth? Or is this something I'm just scared to make a move on? And this is the difference between people who move into success, even with challenging times, versus those who don't have any success and there's nothing challenging them. It's the perspective of things. We're not fearless. Okay, we're not fearless because if you're alive right now, you have feared a lot of things to get to this point that has kept you alive. It's kept you from doing some stupid things. So think about fearless and let's put a space in between. Fear less. And use that space to think about logically, what are you fearing at this time? So we want to fear less in life. And that's going to allow us to release the grip that fear has on us. So if I'm approaching something and it is making me feel uncomfortable, I will ask those two questions. Is this a detriment to my health overall? Is this life threatening? And 95% of the time it's not. Then I ask myself, why am I uncomfortable with this? Is this some kind of resistance I'm building up toward change? And that's the era that we're in right now, this resistance toward change, this resistance toward unexpected change. And people are using fear as a way of trying to protect themselves, but a lot of them are doing it the wrong way. Thinking about fear and the word fearless, it brought me to this idea of quotes. And I love quotes. And one quote is really strong for this topic, and that's from Mark Twain. Mark Twain was the author of Huckleberry Finn, other great books that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys may know about or you should, learn about. And he said that courage is the resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. Think about that again. Courage is the resistance to fear, the mastery of fear, but not the absence of fear. So next time you're approaching something and you're asking yourself, why am I scared? That's a good question to ask. Why are you scared? Why are you afraid to take a chance on something? Why are you afraid to go down a different path you haven't gone down before? Why are you afraid to try something new in these challenging times? A lot of people right now are afraid to do things differently in their business because they've done certain things a certain way this whole entire time. And now that they have to change, some are refusing to change and it's slowing up their process for growth and even finding new opportunities. I don't want that for you. Even in your personal life, this can impact you. I'm not saying to walk out here in life and just say, I don't have to fear anything. I'm saying to think logically about your fear. Think logically. If you're having a conversation with a friend and all of a sudden you want to just interject that conversation and say something, what are you fearing to hear? I'm still checking myself on this when I'm having conversations. I love to give information, but sometimes it's a little hard for me to receive it. That's a fear of me feeling like I'm not, adequate enough. And we all have it. And I'm telling you this even as an expert on change, that we are human and we have flaws. But the people who are able to teach that, they acknowledge their flaws and they're able to work on it. Let's talk about acknowledging. So one way of moving forward with fear is this. We have to acknowledge the fear, right? There's a lot of people, they don't want to acknowledge their fear. They don't want to admit to it, that they're scared right now. A lot of this is due to upbringing. Whether you were a guy being raised in a family where you were taught to be manly, macho, and not show any emotions, that won't work. That's not going to work. Help you in relationships. It's not going to help you in business. You got to show emotions. People now want to know if they can know, like, and trust you. They want to know that you're human. They want to know more than just information. They want to know the person. So it's important for you to begin to acknowledge what your fears are and embrace those fears. And don't be afraid to share them with someone that you're very close to so they can help walk you through those. So acknowledge your fear. Write down what are the things that you're fearing right now in life. This is a really good coping mechanism for us going through this challenging process of COVID-19 and other things that are going on with government restrictions. Write down your fears. Don't let your fears sit inside the basement of you where it just settles and it steeps up from time to time in conversations or irrational behavior towards someone that you shouldn't be fearing. So think about that. What are your fears? We got to acknowledge that. And the second step that we have to do here is we have to ask ourselves, like I did, is this life threatening or am I just afraid of failing? This is a big one. Is this life threatening or am I just afraid of failing? A lot of people are afraid of failing. And I will say this a lot. Failure is never personal. It's only situational. When you accept that you're a failure, that's because you don't value yourself as much as you should. We're in this world for three things. That's to learn, that's to grow, and to fully express ourselves. And in between that is what we call life experiences. These are relationships. These are adventures that we go through. Learn, grow, and fully express ourselves. And you're going to fail a lot through that process. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the term fail forward or fail fast. I always say that we learn from our failure. We don't expect to fail. We expect to learn from what didn't work. So think about that. Are you afraid of failing? And if you are, okay, well, what do you do next if you're afraid of failing, Adrian? So this is what we do next. If you're afraid of failing at something, think of a time when you faced a daunting challenge and overcame it. This helps me out a lot. Think of all the situations in your life where you were scared out of your wits, or you didn't think that you were going to pull through and you ended up doing it. And trust me, you have gone through a lot of crap in your life and you've gotten to this point because you have mustered the courage to overcome it. You become a champion. So you have to dial back into that memory bank of yours and find that experience and relish in it. And let that be the thing that's going to carry you through this particular situation where you have fear of failing. This is something that's not going to be easy to do overnight. It takes practice. This is why I'm giving you these action steps. This is how we let go of fear, because fear will not let go of you. You got to let go of it. That's how this works. Think of a time you had a daunting challenge and you overcame it. This could be anything from the time when you were a child, from you were adolescent, you were in school, college, adult. You've overcome something, right? I've overcome multiple shoulder injuries due to martial arts. I've overcome a lot of different things. I've overcome being in environments where I was judged based on the color of my skin. It's one of those things where you learn over time that if you overcome this, you can overcome a lot. Doesn't mean you're not going to be scared. It just means that you have something that you can operate from because you're not a failure. Okay? You're not a failure. And the fourth step, once you've faced that daunting challenge and you overcame it, you realize what it was. That's kind of like your starter engine, right? You see me moving here. That's your starter engine. And when you start, you're starting up, then you jump into it, right? I don't know if you guys know the jump rope hopscotch where people waiting to go in, they're getting ready. When you think of that daunting moment and you overcame it, you feel that emotion. You think about, yeah, I did overcome that. If I overcame that, I can overcome this. You use that momentum to jump into it and do it. You use that momentum. And here's the action step here. You got to jump into it and do it. Now, if it's something that is very dangerous and you truly don't feel comfortable doing it, then don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. However, if this is something that you're just afraid to do because you're afraid to fail, you're afraid to give yourself a chance, then do it. Learn from that experience. I am not here today because of chance, luck, the breaks. I'm here because I have worked through my fears. And I still got fears, but I worked through them. I made a move on them. I worked in the call center for 8 years. Me, sitting at a desk, 2 monitors in a cubicle for 8 years. I lost myself there. I thought that was my life. And I knew that I wasn't happy doing that. So what did I do? I had to go with the fear of quitting and leaving that job so that I can reach you guys and show you what courageous change is all about. It is uncomfortable as hell. And it sucks because what happens along the way is that you'll lose people that were comfortable being comfortable with you. You'll outgrow them. You'll find that your ideology now doesn't match their ideology. And you're like, whoa, why did I hang out with them in the first place? Why was I associated with them? It hurts in the heart because we spend our time as humans socializing and being connected. That's what we do. And when you move on something that you feel passionate about and you move beyond the fear, it sucks sometimes because you lose people along the way. And more importantly, you lose a part of you that you thought was you. But as you go on your journey, you realize that was just a fragment of you. Now you found a new part of you. I'm asking you to look at fear differently. Look at it in a different way. But back to this step here of jumping in and just doing it. You just got to do it sometimes. I think it was Richard Branson who said that, whenever he doesn't know how to do something, he just jumps in and does it. And he learns along the way. This is how a lot of people of success do this. They just jump in. We have been conditioned, a lot as younger kids to be afraid of making mistakes. That was kind of a point of showing that we were not smart. And that's not true. Actually, the people who make the most mistakes end up learning the most things. They end up discovering the most things. They end up experiencing the better things. And they end up enjoying life a heck of a lot more than those who don't take that risk. We have to look at, how do you want to live? And sometimes you're going to have to live beyond your fears. Okay. So let go of your fears by doing those 4 action steps. 1, I'm going to go back to it here. Okay. Acknowledge your fear. 2, ask yourself, is this life threatening, or are you just afraid of failing? Then 3, think of a time when you faced a daunting challenge and you overcame it. Let that seep in for a moment. Think about it and give yourself a pat on the back for experiencing it and overcoming it, and use that momentum to jump into this thing that you fear. And like I said before, if it is truly detrimental to your health and it is something that you're truly uncomfortable with and you're really, really scared, then you can do 2 things. 1, don't do it. 2, have someone talk with you about it. Maybe get a different perspective on it, okay? Because you do have a right to give yourself that chance. So back to this thing today about being fearless that I talked about. I want to wrap this back around again, okay, this whole conversation. We let go of fear because fear holds us. And we have to understand that fear is going to be a part of our life. I want to give you something today. Go to championup.net, my website. And there's a lot of freebies there, but I really want you to download the free ebook called Finding Your Inner Champion. Because right now you may say, okay, I'm good to go. I understand now I don't have to have as much fear, but there's still some steps on how to deal with that fear. And I want to share one of my most daunting experiences with you through this ebook and show you what 3 things I did to get through that moment. And this was a moment that was a breakthrough of my life, because if I didn't do that, I probably would have still been at the call center or who knows where. And feel free to comment back on this video to let me know what you thought of the ebook, and also to share it around with people to help other people become champions in their lives. So this era is based on 2 things where I come to the conclusion on. 1 is this era is based on change. The other is that this era is based on courage. That is creative courage, the ability to create opportunities for yourself. And you got to have the tools and strategies in place to do that. So get that free ebook download, Finding Your Inner Champion. And until then, I encourage you all to be that courageous creator of change that I know you are in your life. This is the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast with myself, Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. Subscribe to the show and connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube at Champion Up with Adrian Starks. Go to championuppodcast.com to be inspired by more life-changing content. Until then, I encourage you to be that courageous creator of change in your life.